Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Chapter 8. Two more golden tickets found. That evening, Mr. Bucket newspaper announced the finding of not only the third golden ticket, but the fourth as well. Two golden tickets found today, screamed the headline. Only one more left. "All right," said Grandpa Joe, when the whole family was gathered in the old people's room after supper. "Let's hear who found them." "The third ticket," read Mr. Bucket, holding the newspaper up close to his face because his eyes were bad and he couldn't afford glasses. "The third ticket was found by a Miss Violet Beauregard." There was great excitement in the Beauregard household when our reporter arrived to interview the lucky young lady. Cameras were clicking and flashbulbs were flashing, and people were pushing and jostling and trying to get a bit closer to the famous girl. And the famous girl was standing on a chair in the living room, waving the golden ticket madly at arm's length, though she was fagging a taxi. She was talking very fast and very loudly to everyone, but it was not easy to hear all that she said because she was chewing so ferociously upon a piece of gum at the same time. "I'm a gum chewer normally," she shouted, "but when I heard about these ticket things of Mr. Wanka's, I laid off the gum and switched to candy bars in the hope of striking lucky. Now, of course, I'm right back on gum. I just adore gum. I can't do without it. I munch it all day long, except for a few minutes at meal time. And I take it out and stick it behind my ear for safekeeping. To tell you the honest truth, I simply wouldn't feel comfortable if I didn't have that little wedge of gum to chew on every moment of the day. I really wouldn't. My mother said it's not ladylike and it looks ugly to see a girl's jaws going up and down like mine do all the time, but I don't agree. And who's she to criticize anyway? Because if you ask me, I'd say that her jaws are going up and down almost as much as mine are just from yelling at me every minute of the day." "Now, Violet," Mr. Beauregard said from a far corner of the room where she was standing on the piano to avoid being trampled by the mob. "All right, mother, keep your hair on," Miss Beauregard shouted. "And now," she went on, "turn to the reporters again. It may interest you to know that this piece of gum I'm chewing right at this moment is one I've been working on for over 3 months solid. That's a record. It's beating the record held by my best friend, Miss Cornelia Prince Metal. And was she mad? It's my most treasured possession now. This piece of gum is. At night, I just stick it on the end of a bedpost, and it's as good as ever in the mornings. A bit hard at first, maybe, but it's soon soften up again after I've given it a few good chews. Before I started chewing for the world record, I used to change my piece of gum once a day. I used to do it in our elevator on the way home from school. Why the elevator? Because I like sticking the gooey piece that I'd just finished it onto one of the elevator buttons. Then the next person who came along and pressed the button got my old gum on the end of his or her finger. Aha! And for a racket, they kicked up some of them. You get the best result with the women who have expensive gloves on. Oh yes, I'm thrilled to be going to Mr. Wangka's factory, and I understand that afterward he's going to give me enough gum to last me for the rest of my whole life. Uffy, hooray! Beastly guy, and said Grandma Josephine. Despicable, said Grandma Georgina. She'll come to a sticky end of the night, of the end one day, chewing all the gum. You see, if she doesn't. And who got the first golden ticket? Daddy? Charles asked. Now, let me see, said Mr. Bucket, peering at the newspaper again. Ah, yes, here you are. The first golden ticket, he read, was found by a boy called Mr. TV. Another red lot. I'll be bound, muttered Grandma Josephine. Don't interrupt, Grandma, said Mrs. Bucket. The TV holds household, said Mr. Bucket, going to with his reading, was crammed like all the other with excited visitors, and our reporter arrived. But young Mike TV, the lucky winner, seemed extremely annoyed by the whole business. Can't you people see I am watching television? He said angrily. I wish you wouldn't interrupt. The 9-year-old boy was seated before an enormous television set, with his eyes glued to the screen, and he was watching a film in which one bunch of gangsters was shooting up another bunch of gangsters with machine guns. Like a TV himself has no less than 18 toy pistols of various sizes hanging from belt around his body, and every now and again he would leap up into the air and fire off half a dozen rounds from one of another of these weapons. Quiet, she shouted, and someone tried to ask him a question. Didn't I tell you not to interrupt? This was an absolute whiz banger. It's therapy. It's therapy. It's terrific. I watch it every day. I watch all of them every day, even the crummy ones. Where there's no shooting. I like gangsters best. They are terrific, those gangsters, especially when they start pumping each other full of lead and flashing the world stilettos and giving each other 1, 2, 3 with their knuckle duster. Oh boy, what wouldn't I give it to be doing them myself? It's the life. I tell you, it's terrific. That's quite enough, snapped Grandma Joseph. I can't bear to listen to it. No, me, said Grandma Georgina. Do all children behave like these nowadays, like these brats we've been hearing about? Of course not, said Mr. Bulky, smiling at the old lady in the bed. Some do, of course. In fact, quite a lot of them do, but not all. And now there's only one ticket left, said Grandpa George. Quite so, sniffed Grandma Georgina. And just as sure as I'll be having cabbage soup for supper tomorrow, the ticket will go to some nasty little beastie who doesn't deserve it.